Hello everyone, this is our number 2 videos, and today we will be talking about how our brain gets stuck. And as you see, I'm doing it from my living room and it's some of my dog toys. But again, as I mentioned, I kind of wanna have this channel as a place where we're all human beings and not some kind of polished background or polished people. Because what I did understand with my clients is that, the most plug-in thing to our brain is to obsessively perfect ourselves. And it can be related to our physical appearance. It can be related to become completely symptoms-free. It can be related to our relationship or lifestyle or where we live. So I don't want to buy my perfect background or perfect anything to add this feeling of you, my dear listener, haven't figured something out or know something, or I know something that you don't. I simply want to share some of the things that I have found useful for myself and that worked for my own chronic pain and chronic symptoms. So, in order for us to understand how chronic pain gets stuck, because chronic pain, it's stuck pain, right? It pain that repeatedly is with us. It's very different from acute pain. Acute pain is a pain caused by damage to the skin, for instance, like you cut yourself, or it's a pain of a bruise, or pain of some, like, you're broken a knee or something like this. But chronic pain has aspect to last. It's like linger, it's present. And if you think about that, right, like what does it remind you? That something is always there. It's almost like a torture. It's actually literally is a torture. And our brain get used to being in this state. However uncomfortable, however painful, however fear-provoking the state is, it stucks. What does it mean from neuroscience perspective? Our brain functions, right, like, by going through certain neural pathways. And the more I use a certain neural pathway, the more you can think about this thick it gets. What it means, right? That if, let's say, I moved into the new house and first time I go out and I use a certain path to get my car from the garage. I use the same path second time. And right now, like, I have snow, so you can imagine like this path, like kind of having footprints on it. And so the third time I go, I see footprints and I just follow the path. The 10th time, I even don't think about that I have to follow a certain path in order to be in the garage. I just go there using this path. With chronic pain, it's a similar situation. And my dog now will be bringing us all pink ducks. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Pink duck. Yeah, and so with pain, the same thing, right? Like I get exposed to light and I got a headache. Okay, one time I even didn't make a connection. But then, like after the third time, maybe somebody in my surrounding mentioned, oh, you might have migraine. I Googled what is migraine. Migraine sensitivity to light, sensitivity to sound, smell, evokes pain. I'm started having my doubts and I'm like, oh, should I be avoiding light? The fear started going up. And so each time there is bright light, there is this footprints I am making in my brain saying light, danger, light, danger. And if this danger was connected to the pain, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be chronic anxiety, for instance, or chronic depression. And again, we will not go into the specifics of the certain hormonal states that are involved or neuromediator states that are involved in terms of us feeling this anxiety or depression. It will be separate videos, but even this is influenced by how our brain works. Back to chronic pain. Light pain, light pain. Imagine that it's getting very thick, this pathway, and we're even not thinking. It happens in the autopilot right now. And that's what I call brain stuck. It means that each time there is exposure to a stimuli or trigger, it follows certain pathway. The good news is there is such thing as neuroplasticity of the brain. What it means that the same way this pathway had been created, like for instance, in my case, it had been created. I'm 39 now. My migraine started at 5 years old. So you do the math, how many years I spent creating this pathway. That I get tired, pain. I get stressed, pain. And then, as I mentioned in my previous videos, even glasses touching, it's like spreads, right? Because fear becomes overwhelming and I'm living this fear. But the same way, back to good news, the same way as brain created this fear or stimulus pain pathway, we can teach our brain to create and use new pathway. Light, safe. Light, sun. Sun is good. Light, I am feeling great. So it's obviously not repetition or things like I just said, causing neural pathways to change. It's work. And I want to be very clear that in order to change how we think and how our body works as a result of this thinking requires work. It's hard work. It's a lot of work. So absolutely this video or get out of chronic pain is not a snap of a fingers business. It's something that requires focus, concentration, and at least 1% belief that what all those doctors have been telling you. And the thing is that chronic pain really is just learned pathway. Again, I'm not talking about acute pain when you have stomach aches because you have food poisoning, when you hurt yourself on because you fall while skiing. I'm literally talking about chronic pain. When no matter what you do, regularly you have this pain. No matter what medications you take, you still have pain. And sometimes medication worked for some time, or surgery worked for some time, and then you're back to pain. So that's the distinction. So again, if brain gets stuck, if you're having the same reaction, people come to therapy all the time saying, I cannot change this habit. Please understand that habit is just neural pathway. It basically means, okay, I feel lonely, I need to eat. And they go to the fridge and they eat cake and they eat sausages and they eat whatever you eat. Another example of the habit, right? It's each time I pass, I don't know, that's what, shopping center, I have to stop and get something. Because at some point in the past, it brought me joy. So this each time when I pass shopping center, I'm getting something and spending money. And I'm coming and I'm saying I cannot stop shopping. Addictions. Addictions are just habits. And of course, right, when we're talking about drug addictions, there is already this, what addictions does, right? The same as any other chronic conditions. It weakens the prefrontal cortex of the brain, meaning executive functioning part of the brain. What it means that when I go on autopilot, I'm not re-examining this decision. That's why I'm saying it's hard work. For instance, when I had, have been like in recovery from my chronic pain, I see light. I felt such a surge of fear. I wanted just follow my, already very thick 33 years. Please understand this very thick pathway to run in the dark room, to put sunglasses, to hide somewhere from this light. And it takes work to, in small exposures, through establishing safety and being able to kind of deep into this like safety within me and stay 1 minute longer in the light. 1 minute longer in the light. And for me personally, pain reprocessing coach was so much helpful because it's so scary to do yourself, especially when people around you don't have chronic pain. It's very hard to explain what you're feeling when you have been living with it for 33 years and somebody just don't get it. How is it to be in pain for so long? So again, it takes work, hard work. It's not easy. But any habit, including chronic pain, try to think about it as a habit your brain developed over years, sometimes over weeks. And if it's a habit, it's possible to change your habit. But first thing, in order to change the habit, is become aware of the habit. And then work to change this habit. And one last thing I will say, our brain is neuroplastic. It means that it continues evolving and changing. And it's true that like children's brain are extremely neuroplastic and like adults' brain is less. By less, it doesn't mean it is not neuroplastic. It just means that if child learns, 1,001 thing every day, we adults just, actually, we don't need it for our survival anymore. Having said that, it doesn't mean that we cannot change our brains. And again, you don't have to believe me. You can check papers that exist, neuroscience, neuroplasticity, how brain changes. So I hope this video was helpful to you. And I will continue telling you about my experience and I will think what to tell you next. Yeah. And in the meantime, there is my contacts in case you want to reach out or share your feedback or just, schedule a session. I'm here to support you. Bye.